Welcome back to another episode of Out Loud Geek, where we discuss news and views about pop culture, science fiction, fantasy, food, cooking, the outdoors, and more. I haven't talked about the CW since July. There hasn't been a lot to report on, but there's some very interesting things coming out now. And before I do that, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving because it is that time of year. So I hope everyone is enjoying their meal and enjoying a deserved time off. Now, let's take a look at the CW. Apparently, it was losing about $2 for every dollar that it earned. And apparently, it never made a profit. From 2006 up until now, there has been zero profit for this company. It has always operated in the red, and I'm not particularly surprised by that. So this article is based on one from The Hollywood Reporter from a few days ago, and let's switch over to that one because it goes into a lot more detail. Nexstar's next battle, making the CW numbers work. And here's the real fun part. Unpacking the Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery deal that saw the sellers pay $54 million to unload the broadcaster. That's how bad it is. In the end, Nexstar was paid $54 million to take the CW off of Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery's hands. Actually, that's an oversimplification. In fact, Nexstar, led by CEO Perry Sook, was given its 75% stake in the network for free, but after factoring in its cash on hand, accounts receivable and accounts payable, and other liabilities, the local TV giant ended up with its $54 million gain on bargain purchase. Yeah, this was a genuine bargain, and it really goes to show just how little the CW was really worth. The National Broadcast Network, a distant number 5, had long been known to be a money pit, but a review of unaudited financial statements shed some light on the complex finances of the network, and just how big of a challenge it will be for Nexstar to turn its fortunes around to meet its goal of profitability by 2025. Well, they're going to have to make some serious changes to the CW to make it profitable, since it never has been. I must admit, I'm not entirely sure that this was the best move for Nexstar, even though they owned a majority of the TV stations that were broadcasting the CW. Still, we're just going to have to wait and see how this plays out. I mean, this network really is a complete joke. According to a Hollywood Reporter analysis of the financial statements that were included in Nexstar's latest quarterly filing with the SEC on November 9th, the CW had revenue of about $100 million per quarter in 2021 and 2022 for an annual run rate of $370 million to $405 million. However, it had annualized losses of between $300 million and $400 million. In other words, for every dollar it took in, as many as 2 were flowing out the door. Wow, what a finely managed company, huh? The CW has never turned a profit since being formed in 2006. So I'm not lying, it has never turned a profit. I doubt that anyone will really be surprised by it, but just seeing that, yes, this is a fact, that's what makes it funny. The largest source of expenses for the CW was programming, and it acquired that programming from Warner's and Paramount, making it economical for the joint owners, but not for the CW, apparently. The network has consisted exclusively of scripted originals produced by both Warner's and CBS Studios, supplemented by a few unscripted shows and low-cost Canadian series acquired to help flesh out its slate. While the network wasn't designed to turn a profit, well, that's pretty obvious. Both studios were making money thanks in part to a 2010 $1 billion Netflix output deal, as well as international sales for well-known titles like Dynasty. So there was some money coming in, but that all changed when Warner Brothers and Paramount wanted to have their own streaming services. That kind of killed all the output going out to Netflix, and it just hastened the demise of the CW, making it even more of a loss than it already was. While that model proved extremely fruitful, the network's parent companies opted against extending the Netflix deal in order to bolster their respective streamers, HBO Max and Paramount Plus, with CW programming instead of seeing all of their originals land on Netflix. What's more, the need for all streamers to retain global programming rights as platforms expand into foreign markets meant an end to those lucrative international sales. Without revenue streams from Netflix and foreign sales, the CW's business model no longer made sense, and Warner's and CBS Studios began exploring sales options, leading to the sale to Nexstar. Well, truth be known, I don't think the CW's existence has made much sense, given how bad its financials truly are. I mean, there's been some good shows on the CW over the years, but not that many. Like, Supernatural was really good, and The Flash is not bad, but some series they had on here were just complete flops, like Batwoman. Boy, that was really bad. And that one got killed earlier this year, and I did a video on that. And while other studios, including at least one private equity firm, kicked the tires, the local TV giant emerged victorious, benefiting from being the largest owner of CW stations in the country, where it can more efficiently monetize political ads, for example. I mean, honestly, who would really want to buy the CW? You have to really want to try and take this monster on and attempt to turn it around from never making a profit. That's a tall order, so Nexstar has truly taken on a behemoth to try and solve this disaster of a network. I mean, this is just terrible. Now comes the hard part, as the local TV giant needs to find a way to stem the steep losses the CW is facing. For now, it has agreed to carry 12 scripted series from the previous owners, primarily for the 2022-23 season. But after that, it will turn to new entertainment chief Brad Schwartz to chart a new, much less expensive content strategy. Quote, "We just have to be scrappier. If we do scripted, we have to figure out a smart way of doing it," Schwartz told the Hollywood Reporter on November 2nd. Well, they're going to have to be really smart, because trying to get this thing turned around to where it's no longer just bleeding money every single day it operates, yeah, that's a tall order. The shows that are going to be on the CW after this coming year, they may be really, really bad. I don't know. And I have very little hope for anything that's going to be on the CW. I very rarely ever watch anything on the CW. It's never really had that much to be all that interesting to me. And that's been one of the biggest problems for the CW. It has been so focused on very specific demographics, it never had very broad appeal. And that just came back to haunt this thing. And we'll get into that a little bit, because there's a great article from 2018 that I also want to share. The acquisition is expected to solidify Nexstar's revenue opportunities as the largest CW affiliate, diversify its content outside of news, establish it as a participant in advertising video on-demand services via the CW app, and create value by improving the CW ratings, revenue, and profitability, Nexstar wrote in the filing. Well, improving the CW's ratings, that alone is going to be a tall order, but that's the only way they're going to increase revenue. And that's going to mean a huge change in what the CW has been producing and broadcasting all these years. You've got to attract the 18 to 45 demographic, the entire 18 to 45 demographic, not just specific little groups. The only way you can have advertising money coming in is to have a large audience, which the CW has never had. And there's a reason that contributes to that. All we have to do is come over here and take a look at this article from IndieWire from 2018. And it's a very interesting article. The CW puts diversity at the center of its new fall marketing campaign. That kind of leads into, clearly what this article is going to be about. But let's skip down to the very interesting part here. At the CW, the network notes that this year, meaning back in 2018, 63% of the showrunners / executive producers, writers, and directors on its scripted fare are women or people of color, up from 53% last year. Among series regulars, 49% are people of color. And the network also made headlines for casting Nicole Maines as the first transgender superhero Dreamer on Supergirl, and is, at the time, developing Batwoman, which turned out to be a total flop, with the title character as the first openly gay lead superhero played by Ruby Rose. And she was only on that series for 1 year until she bailed. And then the person that they brought in to replace her, it just went nowhere after that. If Ruby Rose had stayed with the show, maybe it would have survived a little bit longer, but it still would never have pulled in the numbers. If you want large audiences, then you have to appeal to large audiences. The CW's management never had the idea of trying to appeal to a broad audience. Now that's what they're going to have to do under Nexstar. Nexstar, I think, is going to really change everything that has been going on over at the CW. Clearly they have to, because otherwise it's going to be, a huge loss for them having taken this thing on, even though they bought it for free. This is just very bad. I mean, the CW has never been profitable, and now under Nexstar, maybe it will turn it around. I hope that this isn't a huge financial bust for them. So only time will tell, and after this 2022-23 season, when they are more in control of all of the content, it'll be very interesting to see where the CW goes. If Nexstar can't make it work, no one else will. This thing will fold if Nexstar can't pull this off.
Thanks for watching today, and a huge thanks to everyone who has subscribed to our channel. We appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, and please feel free to share a comment. If you'd like to see more of our videos in the future and help support this channel, please press the red subscribe button, and please press the bell to receive notifications for new content. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by clicking on the links in the description. Until next time, this is Out Loud Geek.